So in case you missed it, I received all 3 versions of the Digimon Pendulum Z the other day, and I decided to do a live stream to show them off, and unfortunately, due to reasons beyond my control that I will not be getting into today, that live stream has been lost to time. So to make up for it, I'm going to do a brief overview of these devices, talk about their functionality and what I like about them, and so let's get right into it. The Digimon Pendulum Z is basically just the Digital Monster X, but you can shake it. Now, of course, there's a lot more to it than that. This is based on the original Digimon Pendulum series. These are the Nature Spirits, Deep Savers, and Nightmare Soldiers devices, which were the first 3 versions of the original Digimon Pendulum, but at their core, they really are very similar to the Digital Monster X, where they use things like experience points and a level-based arena system that we'll get into here in just a minute. So the devices themselves are very pretty. Now, the design that they went with here with the Minecraft style thing that my nieces and nephews like to refer to it as has been a little bit divisive. I do like it. A lot of people are saying they prefer translucent devices, and while yes, translucent devices are always very pretty, I do like to just see what other kind of designs can come in. And as far as Digimon V-Pets go, the pattern is very unique. The shell, of course, is not unique. This is the same shell that was used with the Digimon Pendulum version 20th, which was based on the original Digimon Pendulum shell, so it looks almost identical to those. But the coloring is all new. Nature Spirits originally was a silver device, not a green device, so I like that update, and these brown buttons look really good with it. The blue I absolutely love, the lighter blue with the dark blue shell and the cool patterning. I really love the look of this device. Possibly my favorite looking device of all time as far as Digimon V-Pets are concerned. And that probably was previously held by the Cycle. I really like the way the Digimon Pendulum Cycle looked, but the Deep Savers, the Deep Savers one specifically, the translucent blue one, and then the Nightmare Soldiers. It's got like it's almost brown. It's a very dark color, but there's a lot of purple and pink accents going on in this. I will emphasize, originally we kind of thought this device was red, but it's much more like magenta in color when you have it in real life. Also, hi Neo Devimon, how you doing? Neo Devimon's back, isn't that cool? There's a lot of new Digimon on these devices too. Digimon like Marine Chimeramon over here, Gogmamon on the Nature Spirits device, and Ghostmon on the Nightmare Soldiers device. So lots of new Digimon to go around. Unlike the Digital Monster X, there are no more X antibody Digimon. Those have all been done away with and replaced with a lot of returning Digimon from various sources of Digimon media, as well as completely new Digimon that were made just for these devices. And if you want to see all those are of course at digitamahatchery.com. The evolution charts are up. They're not complete. There's no actual requirements written down as of this point on the website. I do have a spreadsheet going to take care of that, which I will link in the description for those of you that want to either follow along or submit your own results. But as far as the Digimon go, they're all there. They're all on the website. So if you want to see who's on each device, just head over there. You can even look at them specifically by version. Now, as for the devices themselves, let's go ahead and do an overview. We're not using the Nature Spirits, we're using Deep Savers. That's the prettiest one. So there's Marine Chimeramon, absolutely beautiful looking Digimon. I love the sprite work on this. There's a lot of good new sprites on these. There's a few questionable ones as well, but Marine Chimeramon I am perfectly happy with. So just like before, there's a row of icons up top, row of icons down bottom. If we go on the stat screen right here, we see there his name in Japanese. We see the standard age and weight in gigabytes. We see the hunger meter, which you'll see there are only 3 hearts there, not 4 like there are on some devices. Again, this is just like the Digital Monster X, where the amount of hearts you have for hunger and strength will go up as your Digimon evolves further and further. And each of these hearts is worth 2 points. There is a total of 8 slots basically for each stat. So if your Digimon is starving and it is an ultimate level Digimon, you will need to feed it 8 pieces of food in order for it to get full. Now, of course, apart from these standard foods, we also have the items returning. So if you want to skip a bunch of stuff, you could feed it a jumbo meat or big ol' protein and several other things that will help in quest mode that we will get into later. Also, fun fact, there's a... Actually, this is the first time I've noticed this. So I am running these devices in debug mode, and that is a Zai locker item. You can't get this item on this device, but apparently it's still there in debug mode, so neat. If I ever wanted to lock my Zai rolls, then I still can, even though those don't exist on these devices. Back to the stat menu screen though, we have after hunger and strength, we have effort, returning as normal to aid with evolution into child and adult. We have the attribute, which in this case is vaccine, as well as the stage, which is stage 5, which is the perfect or ultimate in the dub stage. We have level and experience. Your Digimon can level up and increase their stats over time as you battle in the Coliseum. And then we have Jogress, which this was not on the Digital Monster X. This was, of course, returning from the Digimon Pendulum series, and most recently the Digimon Pendulum version 20th, where you can Jogress 2 Digimon together to make a new Digimon. And then we have the stat screen as usual, and just as useless as it was on the Digital Monster X. So again, food has items. You can cycle through all these different items. They all do the same things they did on the Digital Monster X. I'm really saying that a lot. Are you starting to see a pattern? Yeah, it's very, very similar. Training, though, is not the same. Before, you would stop a little pin on top of a meter and that would judge how well you did, but now it shows you how many arrows you need to get. You shake it until you get the right number of arrows. So you heard 4 beeps there. There are 4 arrows now, and then your Digimon will do its little training sequence here. There goes a horn, there goes a cool little face and a bunch of spikes, and then you got his double horn. I like how he has his little spear that he stole from Hangyoman. And he's shooting out. What's his minor attack? Minor attack is fish. He's got the marching fishes from Goemon. It's cute. There you go, so that's training. Now, I will say, the pendulum on this thing is weird, like really weird. I did the pendulum test in debug mode, and I was not able to really get consistent results, but thankfully you don't need to shake to a specific number ever. Every time you need to shake, it shows you exactly how many arrows you need, so that's showing me 4. Now, that's for a vaccine like Marine Chimeramon. I have Scorpiomon on the Nature Spirits device. If I was to go to his, you'll see I only need 3. So. And the other weird thing about shaking is just that it's just not consistent for me. Like, I cannot get it to consistently go the same way. Oh, look at that beautiful face. Beautiful. All right, skip that. So we'll see if I can demonstrate that at all on camera. So we're going to try to get 3 shakes again, okay? So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Hey, it actually did it really well that time. So there you go. That's how I've had the most success, is just kind of starting right here, going up, just like that. So don't start from up, start from down and go up. And then every time you go down, that's 1. Now, I can't say that's been consistent for me. Let's try it again on Nature Spirits just to see if I can get it twice in a row, which would be great. Hey, there you go, twice in a row. So, oh, okay. You gotta be careful because you notice I got 4 arrows there, which was not the target. The target was 3 arrows, and I got a 4th one because he moved. It's very sensitive when it wants to be, and it's also not sensitive at all when it doesn't want to be. And viruses this time, by the way, have been spared from having to shake as much as they used to, because if we go to, get my head up there with the Coliseum, if we go to here, we see it only needs 1 arrow. I'll shake it once, and it'd be perfectly still. And there we go. So now Neodavimon gets his good attack out. So just mess around with it. Thankfully, again, it's not requiring that you be super accurate, and I'm glad I was able to get it accurate on film. That makes me feel better. The shakes are all based on the number of beeps you hear, so as long as you shake until you hear the correct number of beeps, then you'll be perfectly fine every time. Look how happy he is. Good job, Neodavimon. All right, so that's, you can get out of here though. We're going back to this device for demonstrating. So that's training. And then of course we have the Coliseum. It's not the quest mode technically anymore. It is just a Coliseum. There's not a map. Well, there wasn't a map on the other one, but it wanted to pretend there was. But you're not going through a sequence of areas anymore. You're going through levels, which I hate that because there's also experience levels on here. And a lot of times evolutionary stages are referred to as levels. So calling them levels here is just a little bit confusing. But each level has 3 rounds. There's no variance in the number of rounds anymore. You only get 3. Let's see. Okay, last one was a little late, but I still got it. There's only 3 battles for every level. Well, I guess 3 rounds for every level is the way they phrase it on the device. And as you notice here, we got Mochimon that we're fighting. And Mochimon's not raisable on this device. He's from the original Pendulum. So there's a few Digimon from the original Pendulum series that make appearances in the Coliseum. And the ones that appear are all from Deep Sabers, Nature Spirits, and Nightmare Soldiers. So all 3 of these devices have the same Coliseum. The next wave of Pendulum Zs will probably have their own Coliseum series as well. And I say probably, of course they will. They'll have their own, pulling from the Digimon on the Wind Guardians, Metal Empire, and Virus Busters devices. Okay, there you go. That was a better example of when it's not super consistent for me. Maybe someone can review the tapes and tell me what I did wrong. But there you go, he's gonna win anyway. So yeah, at the 3rd battle of each one, it's referred to as the boss. You also notice I'm getting 1,000 experience. That's because, again, I am in debug mode, so I'm going to level up like crazy right now. You will not get 1,000 experience unless you are in debug mode. And that's how I am able to test evolutions more quickly. So here we go, boss, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I got 3, whatever. So after beating the boss of every area, you do not unlock any evolution requirements by going through the Coliseum, like you did in the Digital Monster X. Instead, you just get your item, which on the same thing on the X, you would always get items on that too, but that's all you get this time. So there we go. Marine Chimeramon got a big protein. So proud of you. Congratulations. If your Digimon poops, you can hit this button and the poop will go away. I don't have any poop. Nothing new there. Nothing crazy. But then we have lights. As before, there is a freeze mode function, so you can put your Digimon in the fridge and it will just stay there and not age. It won't get hungry. It will just do nothing. So if you need to take a break from life for a minute, or rather take a break from your Digimon's life for your life, then you can do so by using the fridge. So we're going to turn you back on there. And there he is. And of course, if he was tired, you can also use that to put him to bed. We have the healing, which he doesn't need any healing. Just like the other devices, there is injury and there is sickness, so just pick whichever one you need to use. The album is back, where we have the backup option. Look, I got 2 Agumons in backup there. And then we got library, showing you which Digimon you have raised so far, and if there's any Digimon you haven't, they show up as just big black blobs. Now, as a note, the special connection Digimon that you can get by connecting these devices together, if they require a Jogress, they won't show up in your library right away, but will show up after you've performed that Jogress. So, looks like there's only one Digimon I don't have on here. And that is, whoever that is, right after Tobiumon. Who's the other vaccine? Is that Yukidarumon? Yeah, I haven't gotten Yukidarumon during my testing yet, because someone else already did, so I don't need to. And then we have Recode, which is just your battle record. Misspelled once again. Ever since the Digital Monster X, it has been spelled that way. On the X2 it was spelled that way, on the X3 it was spelled that way, and we'll see it spelled that way on the next Pendulum Z as well. It's not going away. Connection, we have Battle and Jogress. Now, the Battle, there is no option for original Pendulum, there is just Z and Other, so those are your 2 options. And annoyingly, the Z option is actually the exact same battle system that is used on the Digital Monster X. Look over here. And the thing is, though, is that if I was to shake 4 times on this, there we go, that was more than 4, but only counted as 4. And then we'll just give you that, why not? So we'll go ahead and connect these. And we just get an error. So, unfortunately, they decided to make them incompatible. Incompatible, there we go, that's a better word. And I don't know why. It's kind of sad because it is the exact same battle system. We already implemented it into Alpha Terminal in Digimon Online, so you can battle other people. If you wanted to battle someone with the Digital Monster X, you can use the Pendulum Z battle system and battle them, no problem, but not possible on device-device. If you want to do device-device, you want to use the other system, which is just the simplified original Digital Monster system, which is not as much fun, in my opinion. So, real bummer that they didn't take the opportunity to make a universal XZ system to go with, but that's Bandai for you, I guess. As for other connection types, we also have the Jogress connection, so we'll go ahead and show that off real quick. So if I was to take Marine Chimeramon here and hit the Jogress button and go down to connect, well, if I wanted to, I could do it with a Digimon I have backed up, but Agumon can't Jogress, so we're not going to use Agumon, but I can do it. Plays a really jaunty little tune. It really took me by surprise when it came up because I was not expecting that to play. And we'll go ahead and fire up Scorpiomon over here, do the same. They both play the tune. Connect them together, hit that button, and there we go. And there we go, Marine Chimeramon became Ancient Megatheriumon, and Scorpiomon became Holy Dramon. So any adult and any perfect Digimon is able to Jogress. This is different from the original Pendulum series, where most perfects, you either had to be Data or Virus to be able to Jogress, and you had to Jogress with another Data or Virus, and then as far as adults go, you could kind of go anywhere. That's still about the same, but perfects being able to all Jogress, that's pretty new to these devices. So the one caveat to that is that there is no DP this time. So if you had 2 adult Digimon, you could Jogress them together and then immediately re-Jogress them up to their ultimate stages after they reach perfect, which I'm not a big fan of that. It moves a little bit too quickly. Now, for testing purposes, I'm like, whatever, that's great. But for casual play, I prefer that there'd be some kind of limit on that, because, you know, that otherwise you just have to restrain yourself to not evolve. But, you know, if you've got enough self-restraint, great. And it's not like the Jogress options aren't the same as the natural evolution options. So if you were raising Marine Chimeramon normally, for example, he could become Regalicusmon, but he can't become Regalicusmon via Jogress. So there is incentive in that way to not Jogress. Now, concerning natural evolutions, thus far I have not found any perfect Digimon to have multiple options. Same with any adult. They all have one natural evolution option, unless you Jogress. So it looks like that's back from the original Pendulum versions, where you would either choose to just follow the normal route and become what you become, or you Jogress to become something else. Unlike the Digital Monster X series, where there were many different requirements to turn into a variety of different things. Now, I will miss that. I find that to be kind of a bummer that that is gone, because I did like the idea that you could just do all sorts of different things to get a different Digimon. But here it's if you get too low of level or too many care mistakes, your Digimon just doesn't evolve into the next stage. So again, you have Jogress is another option, but it's I don't know, kind of, I miss the other way of doing it. I wish they had both, but I get it. With a limited roster like this, you can't really do both, and that's also a bit of a bummer that the roster is as limited as it is, I will say. On these devices, you've got a good variety of just the basic Digimon that are already unlocked, and then you can unlock a few more by connecting to other devices. The first unlock you get is pretty great. It's a partner from Digimon Adventure 02, and for the most part, they kind of fit with the theme. Now, you get Armadimon on Deep Savers, which isn't super aquatic, so that one doesn't really fit. It may have fit if Vikemon was still in, but Vikemon is not being used, so it's just kind of they had nowhere else to put him, so they went with Deep Savers. So, but it still works out well. On this device, you have Plotmon in its line, and on this device, you have Wormmon in its line. And they're good. I think they're good additions, and they mix in well with the rest of the roster. However, if you connect all three devices together, you unlock Agumon and a bunch of Digimon related to Agumon. So you get his whole line, you get Agumon from Digimon Frontier and its whole line, and you get Agumon, spoiler. So that's a bit of a bummer, especially because it turns out that Agumon is like the top line on every device. So if you get no care mistakes and full effort with the Baby 2 form on whichever device you're using, you get Agumon. So maybe avoid that if you want to get the more theme appropriate Digimon, because that's what's kind of like the cool thing about Pendulums, is the theming to it and why you would buy specific ones. Like, I bought a Deep Savers, not only because I'm testing all these, but because I really like the Deep Savers field. And I don't want to raise Agumon on the Deep Savers field. I want to raise aquatic Digimon, or I guess frozen tundra Digimon in the case of ancient Megatheriumon. So I'm not a big fan of them being there, but unless you really, unless you're just going in blind, you can easily ignore them just by not getting the 0 care mistake 4 effort requirement, because as long as you get even just 3 effort, you get something else. So it's very easy to avoid them, and if you do avoid them, they don't seem to intermingle like the 0-2 partners do. So Agumon, and their lines are just kind of very much their own thing. They can evolve into other things that are on the rest of the roster, but other things in the roster can't evolve into their higher things. So I very much appreciate that they at least kind of kept them separate. Now, oh, look at that. Thank you, Holy Dramon, for going to our next point so nicely. I did not plan that at all. So Holy Dramon is receiving a random encounter. So let's go ahead and put the button here, see what we get. It's a gift. So random encounters do return from the Digital Monster X, and we got an attack power up, so that's great. And they are either gifts or they're one of several battles. The battles are all with Digimon from the original Pendulum series, so like Triceramon and Piemon will appear. You can fight them and they'll give you a good chunk of experience, which is always nice if you're trying to level up. And in this case, there's no reason not to level up your Digimon anymore. Before in the Digital Monster X, you'd want to keep your Digimon low leveled for certain evolutions, but in this case, if you get too low of a level, you just don't evolve. So not a bad thing to get those random encounters and get that bonus experience going on. Now, there is no XAI, of course. That is exclusive to the Digital Monster X series and the Digimon Pendulum X series. So if I was to hit the C button several times on here, well, actually it's the first thing that pops up. You'd see the XAI for the day. It's 7 on that one, but here it just goes straight to hunger, strength, and all that. So there is no more X antibody. It does kind of seem like it's there invisibly so, as in like there's a different role every day that decides what happens, but you don't see it. So as far as we're concerned, it's not there anymore. Also, I should show off real quick, the screen quality between these two is pretty much identical. The Digital Monster X and Digital Monster X2 were noted for being too dark and then too light, respectively. But the Digital Monster X3 did get a good middle ground between that. It's got a very nice, clear, easy to see screen, and that remains the case on the Pendulum Zs. Very happy with the screen quality on these. Looks great, no complaints there. I also have to say the backgrounds being back are great. Now, we got the Nature Spirits background on the original Digimon Pendulum version 20th, the Silver Black version, that's which one it was. But we didn't get the Deep Savers on the Silver Blue, we got the Wind Guardians in Silver Blue. So we actually have that beautiful little background of the ocean right there, and then Nightmare Soldiers, we have that little spooky castle going on. So I'm very happy to see the backgrounds come back. They look great on these devices. Again, they're just beautiful overall, I would say. I love the way they look. Now, overall, I will say these are not like the must-have devices. I definitely wouldn't recommend getting all three of them, for example, even of the next set, unless you really want those connection unlocks, but even then there's ways around that, of course, that I won't get into on this video. But they're just, the rosters are basically all just swapped around, so it's only a matter of what Digimon do you like more. There's no different features between them, so if you just really like the fish Digimon, then get the Deep Sabers. If you prefer spooky Digimon, get the Nightmare Soldiers, and there's not really a major reason to go beyond that. So pick your favorites. Don't feel the need to get all three if you only have Digimon you like on one or two of them. I probably would have gotten all three anyway, just because, again, I really like the way these look, and I like the Digimon on them, but it's not necessary to do so, and it's, you know, expensive, so don't break yourself doing it. The next set, of course, the Digimon Pendulum Z Wave 2 will be covering Wind Guardians, Metal Empire, and Virus Busters, and it's going to be about the same as these. The only difference is that instead of Agumon stuff, you get Gabumon stuff. You get the other 0 or 2 partners, and then each Digimon Pendulum version has its own unique main roster to go through. The Coliseum will be different, but Marine Cameramon, it's Ancient Megatheriumon, that's right. But each Digimon Pendulum version will just, it's basically just which roster you like the best. Now, if you want to get one of these, I believe Japan may have already sold out of their stock of the back orders they have. Well, they might have some more in back orders, so take a look at them first. They're super easy to order through. Apart from that, go with Japan Yahoo auctions. Use either From Japan or Buyee to go for that. I've already looked at eBay the other day, and they are already gouging these prices to no end. So I highly recommend avoiding them if you can. Stick with Yahoo Japan auctions, where the Japanese sellers are being much more fair about pricing these. There's no reason to be paying over $100 for any of this. If you're paying around 60 USD, I would say that's mostly fair. But any higher than that, and it's a little questionable. So, and keep in mind that the Wave 2 of the Pendulum Z will be coming out in March. So pre-orders for that are unfortunately already closed. So if you wanted to pre-order it, you are already out of luck for that. But you might be able to find the device on another seller. We had surprisingly a lot of people with good luck with Nin Games this past season, because they received it. People that ordered from Nin, some of them received their Pendulum Zs even before I got mine from Japan. And normally, like, from Japan, it's like the fastest that I've seen. But no, Nin got them a full day faster than us, and a lot of people had good experiences. I have heard one not great experience. Apparently, one person did get their order canceled. I don't know the full details of that, so again, go at your own risk, but check to see if they have some stock, and you might be able to find some other people selling pre-orders. I don't normally recommend eBay, but for pre-orders, the prices don't usually go too crazy on eBay if you can find a good person there. I know I used one seller, Auto Fittings, a lot that I've never had a problem with before I switched over to using From Japan. So give that a shot if you're trying to find those. And yeah, I'll be getting all three of those, of course. I'll go over all those in March, and I've got most of the information about them already on the website. We know every single Digimon on all three of these, so there is no more mystery to this. There's very little mystery left on the Wave 2s, where I think the only mystery is the adult from Metal Empire. That's really the only thing that I don't know, and it's probably just something that they won't reveal until that Digimon makes some sort of glorious debut in the new anime. So I won't know what that is until then, but as far as everything else, we basically know what it is. You can check out the website for more details on that, or come over to the Discord server. You could talk about it. We have a VPET spoilers section now that is specifically up for the release of the Digimon Pendulum Z, where we're talking about every random thing that could be possible with these devices and everything that we get, and also talking a lot about evolution requirements. So again, if you want to be really up to date on this, join the Discord server. Link is in the description for that. Lots of great people there who are very helpful and will help you with not only the Pendulum Z devices, but with other devices as well. And I'm always hanging out there, of course, as a fellow VPET enthusiast. So I think that's pretty much everything we need to go over with these. There's not much more to say. Let me know what you think about them. Again, I'm not super enthralled by them. I would probably personally place things, as far as modern devices go, as my third favorite, with the first being the Digital Monster X, especially this beautiful blue one. The Pendulum 20 after that, and then these, but these are still better than the Digital Monster version 20th. So those of you that only have the Digital Monster version 20th, I would highly recommend checking these out. I very much like them. This is a fun step up. The main difference being that they're a lot more Jogress options. The Digimon are more field oriented, so those of you that are like, why is my Kabuterimon turning into Skullgreymon? Well, that doesn't happen as much here. There's still some of it, but it's much more focused around different themes. And these are probably about the cheapest Japanese devices you can get right now, even despite the... Who's yelling? Oh, it's Animal Karimon. You get out of here. Alright, yeah, these are probably the cheapest Japanese devices you can buy right now. All menus, as you saw, are in English, so do not let that deter you from purchasing these. Digital Monster 20th, great entry device, but there are a lot of other more fun devices out there, in my opinion at least. If you love the Digital Monster version 20th more than these, then hey, that's you, that's great, and I'm glad that you are enjoying it so much. Anyway, if you have any questions about the device, definitely let me know on the Discord server. You can also let me know in the comments. I do read every single comment. And stick around in a few weeks for the next video to come up. I do try to upload at least 2 videos a month, or at least a video and a stream, or a stream and a stream. I try to do at least 2 things a month, basically, is what I'm working with here. So thank you very much for watching, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!